Kim Gardner, prosecutor from Missouri, who got a lot of that Soros money, is now resigning. And we've covered her previously here. You remember when she went hog wild over the McCloskeys. They were out there in their property on their front porch with their firearms protecting their home during the summer of love, when there were buildings and riots taking place all over the country with very little consequence. But the McCloskeys are happy because Kim Gardner is resigning. She submitted her letter on Twitter, and this comes after a pretty brutal hearing where the judge was holding her basically in indirect contempt, saying that he was going to be appointing a special prosecutor to go and investigate her. And she responded to this hearing saying, "I'm not going anywhere. You're going to have to come after me." And if you missed this, it was a lot of fun. Let's see what this judge concluded.
You ready? All right. The Circuit Attorney, Kim Gardner, was served with a notice and order to show cause directing her or a designated Assistant Circuit Attorney to appear before this court on April 27, 2023, to show cause why she should not be held in contempt based on an alleged willful failure to appear in Division 22 on April 10th and April 24th. Ms. Gardner did not appear. Assistant Circuit Attorney Mr. Huck appeared on her behalf, and Assistant Attorney Mr. Chris Deslitz appeared. The question before the court is whether Ms. Gardner and Ms. Deslitz's failure to appear on April 10th and April 24th amount to disdain and disrespect for the court. The Circuit Attorney's office appears to be a rudderless ship of chaos.
Beautiful.
Ms. Gardner is the Circuit Attorney, and it is her duty to manage the caseload of each staff member. Mr. Deslitz has approximately 104 felony cases. Any prudent practitioner would expect such a caseload to create countless irreconcilable conflicts. It does not appear she has made any reasonable efforts to prevent the resulting chaos. It appears that Ms. Gardner has complete indifference and a conscious disregard for the judicial process. There is sufficient evidence of disdain and disrespect for the judicial process to determine that both Ms. Gardner and Mr. Deslitz's conduct support a finding of indirect criminal contempt. Furthermore, an attorney's violation of a court's order constitutes an intentional disobedience and shows a clear intent to disregard the power and authority of the judicial process. If a court allows such disobedience to continue, then its orders will become ineffective, thereby undermining the judicial system.
It's true.
The court finds that there is the requisite conduct and intent which could support a finding of intentional disregard for the judicial process. Ms. Gardner has counsel. Mr. Deslitz has the right to retain counsel. Both will be afforded their due process rights to discovery and to prepare a defense. The procedure for indirect...
So he'll go into the rest of it, but pretty brutal assessment from the judge, and Kim Gardner was not happy about that. And so rather than standing around and fighting like she said she was going to do, no, she decided to resign. Been a long time coming. You see, she submitted this on Twitter. May 4th, 2023, coming from the Circuit Attorney out of St. Louis, Kimberly Gardner says the following, copying the governor, Mike Parsons. My fellow St. Louisians, I want to start by saying it's been an honor of a lifetime to serve St. Louis, a community that's been resilient and deeply committed to finding solutions to making life better for everyone. And during my time as a prosecutor here, I've tried to embody those values. I believe that's why voters elected me twice. Unfortunately, here we go. Since the time I took office as the first black female prosecutor of the state, people outside the city have targeted me to advance their goals, have also targeted the fundamental rights of the city's voters. For example, the Missouri state legislature began hearings on a bill that appears to permanently remove the right of every St. Louis voter to elect their lawyers, the only remaining elected position in the city. Instead, the bill gives the governor the power to appoint. It's hard to think of a more direct or brutal assault on our democracy, one that mirrors the attacks in Jackson, Mississippi, and throughout Florida. What does this have to do with your terrible performance and not showing up to court? Nothing. It is not the first time since the legislature had proposed bills to take away our city's power. That has happened in nearly every legislative session since I took office. It's also clear to me that as long as I remain in the office, it will not be the last. St. Louis is already one of the few jurisdictions in Missouri that does not elect its circuit judges. The governor has wielded this power. That makes the position of the elected prosecutor particularly sacred. So why aren't you running again then? An elected prosecutor is our city's sole opportunity. The proposed bill strips it away. If I can stop that from happening, I will. Even if that necessitates my considering leaving the office to which you have elected me. So she's going to leave now to go fight bigger causes. The letter continues. She says, the most recent bill, I'm still waiting to see if she's going to explain her terrible office. The most recent bill is part of a coordinated, long-standing strategy to undermine me and my efforts to make St. Louis safer and fairer. Since day one of my tenure as circuit attorney, I have experienced attacks on my reforms, on my judgment, on my integrity, on my prosecutorial discretion, on my responsibility to direct the limited resources of this office and more. Well, you've been doing a terrible job at all of those things. That's what the position entails. Don't run for office if you don't want to get criticized for your job. You are a policy person. People are questioning your policies as well as your judgment that is behind the policies and your integrity and your discretion. All of these are fair game. In fact, being a prosecutor is about judgment and integrity. It's supposed to be. That's what they teach us in law school. In the real world, it's a different story. Some of these attacks seem designed to stop the office, she says, from functioning. Yeah, so it's everybody else's fault at the expense of public safety, right? We have experienced an onslaught of record requests that no office in this country could reasonably fulfill. Oh, there's too much paperwork. Oh, along with attacks on our hardworking line attorneys designed to demoralize these public servants. There is no sign that the onslaught would stop for as long as I am in the office. It's too hard. We have too many record requests. These defense attorneys, the people who are questioning our decisions, it's too hard for us and we're under attack. Give me a break. Talk about a defendant who has no money, no resources, cobbles together some funds to go hire a defense attorney who's also on his own as a solopreneur, trying to juggle a bunch of different things. And they send in a couple record requests, and so she has a meltdown over it. Give me a break. She says, I can absorb those attacks, and I have. But I can neither enable nor allow the outright disenfranchisement of the people of the city of St. Louis, nor can I allow these outsiders to effectively shut down our important work. If not for these two things, I could continue to fight tirelessly to maintain the job you selected me to serve, right? The reason her office is so terrible is because of everybody else. She's under attack and there's nothing she can do about it. But under my leadership and with your support, this office has made tremendous strides in redefining public safety. We have established innovative prosecutor-led diversion programs and significantly reduced police misconduct and created pathways to overturn wrongful convictions and won justice for victims. And we've expanded public health intervention and so many other things. But I cannot be the final circuit attorney to ever be elected in St. Louis. You must be able to have a voice, and we must be able to have our office continue. I will forever remain a tireless advocate for all of those who call our city home. Public safety is important in states where poverty and disinvestment exist. There is a coordinated intent on taking away the rights we hold dear. If we allow this to succeed, we'll never get our rights back. The most powerful weapon I have to fight back is your voices, and to fight for your voices and your rights is, here it is, to step back. I took this job to serve St. Louis. That's still my North Star. And so it is with a heavy heart but steadfast resolve that I am resigning my position as your attorney effective June 1st. Not soon enough. Respectfully, Kim Gardner. Totally ridiculous statement. Just a big, it's not my fault, it's everybody else's fault. Our office is overwhelmed with paperwork. We don't have enough resources. We can't handle this job. And these attorneys' offices are some of the most well-funded institutions in the whole government. What a joke. All right, well, goodbye and good riddance. Here is another celebratory adios cheers from the McCloskeys. Here's what they said about it.
Well, here's to the resignation of Kim Gardner. The city of St. Louis will be much safer. There is justice, there is a God, and justice and God have prevailed. Thank you very much.
Cheers! cheers to the McCloskeys, and adios to Kim Gardner.